Hi, I'm Pam and I'm here to talk about retro video games. Today I'm talking about a game where a man gets transformed into an ape and has to save a princess. It's Toki. Toki was originally developed by Tamed Corporation and released on arcades in Japan in 1989. It was later ported to a multitude of other systems, like the Amiga, Atari, and Commodore 64. I played the NES version, which was ported by Taito and came out in '91. For an early run-and-gun style platformer, Toki includes a lot of text to explain the story. One day, while they're out for a walk, an evil sorcerer captures Toki's girlfriend Miho and turns Toki into an ape. As you start each level, you'll see an overworld map and a block of text that describes Toki's journey. Toki has a good range of moves. He can fire horizontally, diagonally, or vertically depending on what terrain he's on, and he can crouch to avoid enemies or hit foes that appear low to the ground. Through the levels, he'll be climbing vines, swimming, and launching himself to greater heights using a seesaw and a large weight. He can also defeat enemies by jumping on their heads, which is something I didn't realize until a few levels in. Usually when characters rely on shooting, any contact with enemies will cause damage, but that's not the case here. Jumping on enemies will damage them, as well as give extra height to collect otherwise out-of-reach items. There are a lot of items to collect. Various weapon upgrades will make your shots more powerful or fire in multiple directions. Others will let you shoot fireballs or a stream of flames. If you get a helmet, you'll be impervious to enemy damage for a while, and shoes will let you jump higher. There are also coins and various food items like banana and strawberries, which will give you bonus points for your score. Usually arcade games are designed to be somewhat unfair, so you'll pump them full of as many quarters as possible. So I was surprised by how forgiving Toki was in terms of challenge. Unlike the arcade game, where a single hit will make Toki lose a life, here he can take 2 hits. You can also gain more heart containers throughout the game to increase your life even more. You start with 3 lives, but there's at least 1 extra life item to pick up in each level, and you can gain more by collecting 50 coins or scoring 50,000 points. But the most forgiving and surprising thing was the checkpoints. If you die, you'll always start again very close to where you were. No going back to the start of the level or even a halfway point. Even if you lose all your lives and have to use one of your 4 continues, you'll start up again right where you left off. Dying hardly sets you back at all. In this aspect, Toki was ahead of its time. I loved this. However, though I enjoy not being punished too much for dying, the overall platforming and shooting difficulty could have been higher. Enemies rarely pose much of a threat, and their attacks are fairly easy to avoid. The only time I found a real platforming challenge was in the final level where you ride a fast-moving minecar. The speed and momentum took a bit to get used to there. The bosses at the end of each level are all quite simple, and though they are visually distinct, all can be beaten with the same strategy. I just stayed at max range and shot continuously while jumping up and down. Some have shields which block damage from certain heights or throw projectiles at you that need to be avoided, but there's not much challenge here. Visually, Toki looks okay, but obviously the NES doesn't live up to the arcade version. Whereas the arcade version has quite detailed sprites and backgrounds with weather effects and flowing waterfalls, the backgrounds in the NES version are all static, and all of the boss fights take place against a blank black background. I do like a lot of the sprites though. Toki is pretty cute, even more so in the manual, and the enemies he fights are things like penguins, lizards, and baby dinosaurs. The one thing I found most visually impressive was how Toki and Miho look in the game's opening. The NES isn't great at making characters that look human, but these two look pretty good, for the few seconds they're on screen at least. As for the bosses, the first boss is an extremely racist caricature, which kind of puts a damper on the rest of the game for me. It's too bad they started out like this because some of the other boss designs are quite interesting. I liked the Jade Elephant at the end of Stage 4, and the Stage 5 boss, the semi-invisible giant Bashtar, is very cool looking. All that's visible of him is his hands, feet, and heart, and you need to hit his heart to defeat him. The bosses all have a health meter which will let you know how you're doing in the fight. The music is not very impressive. While there are different tracks for the bosses and map screens, each stage has the same music, and I found myself getting pretty tired of it. There is a 2-player mode in Toki, but it's very basic. You just take turns playing through the game, and things look exactly the same for both players. Toki is a mediocre NES game. Though I liked the forgiving checkpoints, overall it was a little too easy and very short. Give it a try if you're looking for a quick one, but there are much better NES games out there. If you're looking for more prehistoric platforming, check out my reviews of Adventure Island or Bonk's Adventure. I have a Patreon if you want to support what I'm doing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.